Hi, welcome to the award-winning Ed Brown Show. And once more, fantastic guests. We have continuation. We talk about the you and the dream. And this is one of the fabulous days that we're. Martin Luther King, I had a dream. But what we're going to do, when you say you have a dream, you got to have somebody to carry it out. And the you are the future. And that's what we're going to really work on, getting the youth involved in this dream to make sure that it's carried out from generation to generation. Hey, welcome Dr. Eugene Williams. Tell us, a correspondent here, you see that fabulous shirt he has there with Obama and Martin Luther King. That's a terrific combination. President Obama and Martin Luther King. Congratulations. I don't know how you got it. It's only one. I haven't seen one with like that. But anyway, what we're going to do, we're going to talk about the future of I Have a Dream. The future of I Have a Dream is the youth. I've been saying that for years, And what we're going to emphasize on the first part of this program is the youth, what they're doing, what's in their future. Dr. Williams, tell us about Marquett Brown here.
Well, Marquett is advancing the dream. But before I talk about Marquett, Ed, I'd like to tell you about my shirt. Who designed this?
Oh, wow.
Tyrone Hardiman from Oklahoma City.
Is that right?
I never met him personally. We met on Facebook. And he said, Dr. Williams, I'm going to fix up a shirt for you that you'll be proud of. And one night I was on Googling, and there I saw this design. Really, really excited about it. He is advancing the dream down in Oklahoma City.
Is that right?
Like my friend here, Marquett, is advancing it here in the Washington, D.C. area. Marquett has become very, very, very special to me and to my family because he's doing so many great things. He has gotten me, and I'm supposed to be getting him on television and doing things. He's gotten me on television. We were out there at the march this weekend, and before I knew it, the cameras were in my face. It was PBS.
Is that right?
Now, he had been interviewed before I was interviewed. I had to follow him, follow the youth.
That's the way it is.
That's right.
That's what I'm trying to get that over to you. Of what we have to do, we have to follow the youth's lead because the things that we did, you know what I mean, they're not applicable now. You know what I mean? And what we have to do is get the idea from the youth to keep this going.
Yeah, and then Ed, down there Saturday, he moved me into another arena. Before I knew it, I was being interviewed by some show I never even heard of before. And I mean, then I said, well, it's time for me to step forward and lead this little fellow some. So we were going back and forth that way, and we just had a good time. Saturday and Sunday, Marquett was there. I'll tell everybody that this young man is a young man who's going places, who's really going to go places because he's sincere. It comes from the heart. He's concerned about people, and he is working with youth.
Okay, Marquett, tell us something about this youth flow that you're dealing with and how is it going to affect the future of the young people of this nation of all races.
Yes. Youth flow. I was recently introduced to youth flow within this past summer. And throughout my year, I was highly engaged in, challenging college after a significant amount of years and challenges. So I just wanted to get a chance to just try to keep moving forward and being productive. So I had to really step up. And there were actually younger youth that were younger than me that created my platform or opportunity to be engaged with the youth. And I didn't know exactly how far it would take me, but these younger youth said, hey, we have a community event going on. If you're inspired, and they didn't know exactly how much influence I had, but they told me that if you were inspired to be involved, we would love for you to be involved with our organization or pretty much outreach program, which was called Respect the Youth. And we started, and our first event was Respect the Youth Fest. And it was hosted at Trinidad Recreational Center. And we were able to have voters registration for this past 2012 election, where we were able at our community event, they had free HIV testing. You can register to vote for Maryland and DC, and those votes will go towards the presidential election of 2012. We had workshops from nonprofit organizations that promoted the advocacies of their program. You had Department of Employment Services that were there, that was allowing people to sign up to become a part of their employment services and receive job training. And you had Bank of America that was there. You had Mayor Vincent Gray, and this was the start. This is one of our first programs that we had at this point in time where our organization was getting recognized, which was Respect the Youth. I was able to use some of my personal attributes to actually invite Raheem DeVaughn, which is a Grammy Award-winning artist. He's traveled around the world, and he actually came and supported, did interviews. We had a basketball game where we had people from the community, from the basketball team of the local recreational center actually played XIB, which was a local youth go-go band, and they actually had a nice tournament together. Raheem DeVaughn came, he signed different autographs and different CDs, and we sat down and watched the basketball game. And it was just a very, very intriguing event for younger youth to just be able to step up to the plate and put together such an event. So moving forward, they were just like, hey, you know, this was the first one. Anytime we have events coming up, we're going to come together and put them together as best as possible. So throughout 2012, the end of 2012, 2013, I was introduced to Will Rap for Food, which is a nonprofit organization that promotes the advocacy of world hunger and how world hunger is relevant to, you know, different communities around the world. And they were able to take us to a platform of a national foundation. We were invited by Michael Walton Foundation to go to Friendship Collegiate Public Charter School Academy in September, where we had actually hosted workshops promoting the advocacy of our nonprofit organization. With doing so, we were able to be a part of a very significant day. And that day created the opportunity of us to meet other individuals that were like-minded, that we were able to use them as our community engagement to move forward. Youth Flow Behind Enemy Lines was founded by Tony Herndon Jr. And he saw fit that when we met, he told me, you know, so many things go on with so many youth have ulterior motives. So many youth have different distractions that sometimes they aren't as sincere. Or they might come off as sincere, but before you know it, their distractions limit them from the opportunities to keep growing. Tony Herndon Jr. was able to do his background work on me. And he saw fit to grant me to be ambassador of Youth Flow. And I became an international, yes sir, I became an international ambassador of Youth Flow Behind Enemy Lines, giving me within my first couple of years, but after going to college, I received an award for outstanding community service from a diverse male student initiative program founded by Brian Hamlin, also known as Brian Heat, which is he's an educator, also a motivational speaker, and he's been traveling around different educational environments and inspiring youth to a very significant level. And that was my mentor that this whole year. So going into the summer and then reaching this platform, I felt like it was no time but present to step up, to accept the responsibility to share.
When did you first start working with youth?
When I first started working with youth, it was about 1996, 1997, and I was probably about maybe 9 years old.
9.
I was about 9 years old, and I was in and out of the foster care system at the time, and I just did not want to fall down the wrong paths. I lived in Northeast DC, a lot of drug investor area, and I was like, I did not want to fall down the wrong paths. I got involved with Charles Young tennis team. I started to swim for Rosedale swim team in Northeast DC. Started to get more engaged. I started doing stage and dance with DC Youth Ensemble, DCYE. I was able to dance and perform and step and tap at Duke Ellington, perform at the Lincoln Theater, and that was the platform of me getting engaged with the youth, being involved. And from there, I knew when I became old enough and as an adult, I would have to accept the responsibility to go back and be that resource to the younger youth to encourage them the same way people had did for me. So Youth Flow Behind Enemy Lines is challenged, and their mission is to be able to go into the communities as they pertain now and be that platform and that force that will encourage the youth that they have the support that they need, that they have the resources they need. They have the political representatives that are influenced by youth such as myself, that we can base the advocacies that they will be able to go to these communities that really need their support, that really need their stature to help them in resources as it pertains to education, as it pertains to youth development, as it pertains to living above your environment, and also as it pertains to leading younger youth to being future leaders.
Marquett, you must have something to say to young people out there as well as to adults about what they should be doing to promote what it is that you are all about. What would you say to the parents?
What I would say to the parents is, don't give up on their children. Keep inspiring them. Keep encouraging them. Even when they go out, just let them know, just as much as you have negative influences, you have positive influences. But the positive influences won't beat you down to get involved. They'll wait for you to take the personal initiative to walk through the door. And as I've learned, there are a very significant amount of positive youth out here. Even the youth that still are challenged in different, environments and may come off as if like they're totally distracted. All they need is just that encouragement to say, I have other people that are like-minded.
Yes.
I have other people that are moving in the same ways that I want to move. They see how many people are easily caught up through the judicial system. They see how many people are caught up in the correctional facilities and how many people are, given labels as juveniles, and these juveniles labels are challenging them through their whole life. And a lot of these youth are actually rebelling against that. They're actually rebelling against the negative and actually stronghold chasing down what the positive message is for America and for the world to help be able to make a positive environment, because we are actually those people. And people, if I could say anything to the youth, they have to continue to step up. A lot of times my family would talk to me and it may come off as if I wasn't listening, as if I wasn't really taking in what they had to say to me. But in my mind, I knew I was dissecting everything.
Okay, you heard it here. You're talking about the dream. You're talking about the future. This is the future. This is the route that we have to go if we want the dream to really become a reality. This has been Ed Brown. We'll be back for the second half in a second. See you in a minute. Hey, welcome back to the award-winning Ed Brown Show. This famous day here, 50 years, we're talking about I Had a Dream, and we are emphasizing the youth. And we have Dr. Williams here and Marquett Brown. I mean, Dr. Williams, he's one of the chief correspondents here, and he's brought this young man here, and this is what we want to emphasize in our dream, the young people, the youth. Hey, welcome back. Tell us, Marquett, you had some sponsors and some people that were involved with your trials and tribulation. Tell us about them.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, as you know, being an ambassador of Youth Flow Behind Enemy Lines, that was founded by Tony Herndon Jr., which is one of the only youth organizations based out of Washington, D.C., that was able to have a day proclamated in their youth program organization name. And June 15th is proclamated as Youth Flow Day annually, moving forward every year after 2013. So therefore,
that would be in the Washington, D.C. area?
D.C., right on the National Mall. So we have stature to be able to utilize different monuments in Washington, D.C. based on behalf of the day proclamation where we will house our specific event. So with that, I did not really, have much exposure when it came to being involved with Howard University prep rallies for, coming into what this weekend meant as the March on Washington. But I was able to be involved and be a part of the rallies. And it was a very, very encouraging time to see the younger youth, a lot of freshmen, all of the different classmen of Howard University rallying and coming together as younger youth for this cause, for this March on Washington, all of them being able to step up to the plate and understand that they're being a part of history. I was actually able to be a part of the rally where they had the organization Black Youth Vote. I was able to meet Mr. Terrence T.C. Muhammad of the Hip Hop Caucus. And that was a very, very encouraging thing to meet so many young individuals. They had a significant amount of people from Florida, from Ohio, from different places, from different cities that came or traveled, to Washington, D.C. to be a part of the March on Washington, but also be a part of the rallies at Howard University. That was just a great way to bring it in, because going into Saturday, March on Washington, with Dr. Eugene Williams, we got a chance to meet a lot of significant people. We got a chance to do some great things. From all the way from the time from leaving the metro, getting off of the metro, just to walking there was a great experience, meeting a lot of people. We were actually able to run into some of my colleagues of Mentoring to Manhood, and they're based out of Largo, Maryland. And that's, men mentoring younger children into manhood and helping developing positive skills. They were relevant. Fathers Alive in the Hood, and they are from New York City. And pretty much that's, based in fathers that go back into the community stronghold, encouraging the youth that they're there for them. Fathers that are saying, hey, even if you're not my child, specifically, I love you as if you are, and they give them resources to help encourage them. Also, Living Strong Television Network. Living Strong Television Network is based out of South Carolina. And there are some very inspiring young people that have this live stream television show or online television show that is livingstrongtelevisiontv.com. And they have a live stream every evening at 8 p.m. every day of the week at 8 p.m. And these young people are geared towards music, geared towards inspiring younger youth based upon ministries. And it was just a great time. I actually was able to be interviewed. Dr. Eugene Williams was able to be interviewed.
And my son.
Yes, and his son. And talk about, their relationship to the books that they had put together. Also, this book, Words, Cross, and the Cross. And we're able to talk about the advocacy of that book and how much influence it makes towards our further future and inspiring the youth that are coming under us. So this March on Washington was a great time for me. It was my first time being able to be a part of, such a historical event outside of the proclamation of Youth Flow Day, where I actually was able to address the nation, similar to the way Martin Luther King did on behalf of my youth advocacy on June 15th. So it was just a very, very intriguing time to know that I was a part of history and a part of inspiring the youth in the way that our founders and our, historical figures have done in the past.
Well, you know what? I was very, very excited to find out that when we separated on Sunday, you got a chance to take a photo with a very important individual.
Yes, sir.
And you may want to talk about that. Who was that individual?
So I got a chance to take a picture and meet Martin Luther King III. I mean, for all of my stature, for all of my representation, I think
we have a shot of that on the show.
I think we did. I think I gave him the picture, but I don't think he knew exactly who I was at the time, but it was a very, very enduring experience to know that being a part of history as we move forward, I was able to be in the origin of such a significant, the child of such a significant figure, but noting the bloodline, noting that these are still figures that stand to continue to inspire our youth to the fullest of extent, to encourage them until, and never stopping, just encouraging. So I got a chance to meet Martin Luther King, and Martin Luther King III, and I got a chance to be a part of his book signing as well as his youth celebration.
Is that right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It was a great thing.
Well, did you meet any individuals from his youth organization? Were they accompanying him
Well, as you know, when it comes to those different type of events and environment, they were pretty fast on moving. You know,
They were lucky to get the picture.
yeah, luckily, you know, they had a number of things going on. It was a pretty, you know, avid environment. They were doing a lot of different things. So we weren't really able to sit down and really dialogue long. But you know, it's a very intriguing thing for myself for me to depart from Dr. Eugene Williams, and then I give him a call and I say, Dr. Eugene Williams, what are you doing? And he say, I just finished talking to Martin Luther King III and his wife and his daughter. So even though I was not able to really sit there and dialogue with him personally, Dr. Eugene Williams was able to do so. And as my mentor, I feel like that's what he should have been able to do, because he is actually that founding figure that has been a part of education, that has been a part of youth development for so long, that I can only say but so much based upon how I've been engaged. But him being able to be engaged with Martin Luther King III is that I'm looking forward to hearing what he got a chance to experience out of that, just as much as what I got a chance to experience. But it was a great thing for myself to meet Martin Luther King III.
Now, put in a plug for the Evolutionary Elders. He's one of the founders of Evolutionary Elders, which primary job is mentoring young men like you. And he's done a terrific job. I'd like to congratulate him bringing you on the show here, letting people know mentoring is very important for the youth. And that if, in fact, you know, if we want to continue to this, we have to bring the youth along with us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Dr. Williams. Now, hey, look, you a couple days older than I am. No, I mean I'm a couple days older than. Tell us about your experience in 1963.
Oh, my experience. I was a student at St. Paul's College in Lawrenceville, Virginia, and I don't feel good about the fact that that school closed in June. But I was there. I couldn't afford to come to Washington, D.C. on the Greyhound bus or the Trailway bus, whichever it was. So I had to watch the I Have a Dream speech on the black and white television. But I was determined, Ed and Marquett, that come hell or high water, I was going to be there this time. And I was there. And thanks to Marquett, supporting me and following me around and helping me through the crowds and what have you, I had a good time. Ed, you know what? I got a chance to meet Martin Luther King III.
All right.
Once, then I got to meet him a second time. The first time I met him, Ed, he was walking away, and I said, Martin, and he stopped. And I gave him my cards. I said, this is who I am. We want to talk. Second time I met him, he was signing his book. He was signing his book, the book that he wrote. And there was his wife sitting next to him, smiling, very pleasant lady.
Okay, you have 30 seconds.
And I said, here's my book. And she said, we are going to buy that book. And I thought, wow, that's not why I gave it.
The name of that book were words.
Yeah, words crossing across, word search on Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Oh, that was an awesome experience.
Right.
Awesome.
Well, basically, I want to conclude this interview and this celebration here, thanking Dr. Williams and just giving Marquett Brown a hand for the work that he's done and the work that he's doing. But he needs help. All the youth needs help. So what about you? Join this mentoring group called the Evolutionary Elders and mentor some young person. I don't care who it is. Oh yes, incidentally, I was at the 1963, I was a research scientist at the Department of Agriculture at 12th and C, and all I had to do was just walk one block. I was right there. So, hey, I thank God for giving me the strength to be here for the 50th. I hope I can make 50 more. See you next time.